Sanders deserved and never apologized for it. We haven't. Not once. 5 years, same mission, zero apologies. KBLA Talk 1580, live on 1580 AM and streaming everywhere.
Happy anniversary! Shine, flies, no time to waste while it's passing you by. Shine, flies, be patient, 'cause good things happen in time. We gon' get it right, we gon' get it right, we gon' get it right. We gon' get it right.
Protests and anthems, yes, we chanting a movement of people. It's like we dancing to the ministry of. It's the energy of, in memory of them that we love. The trinity of the people, the peace, the power, the truth. We speak the powers even louder. We can say it blacker, we can say it. Vice President that went to Howard. Now we talk helping black businesses, and our differences is magnificent. Bringing light to the point where the prisons is. I was told good life is where forgiveness lives. The ascension is to leave what's left behind and feed the seeds with deeds that bless the mind, caress the mind, and question justify. With you and God in time, my best align.
Shine, flies, no time to waste while it's passing you by. We gon' get it right. We gon' get it right. We gon' get it right. We gon' get it right.
How can I be a better father, son, a better grandson, honoring Fannie Lou's and the Fred Hamptons, the Harriets, the chariots that carry us to various areas that marry us to progress. Yeah, we the harvest, the lovely days and midnight marauders, even through charges and days of darkness. No, we in the hands of the greatest artists. I see it in the waters, I see it in our daughters. They could be bridges that know no borders. For so long, them folk try to ignore us. So we at the ballot box, it's a vote for us. Peace to Stacey and the people of Georgia, who galvanize so that we can move forward. Steps are ordered with the presence of mind. Everything's more beautiful in time.
Shine, flies, no time to waste while it's passing you by. Shine, flies, be patient, 'cause
you are listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 15. I'm Dr. Nii-Quartelai Quartey, your host and White House correspondent, joining you live in afternoon drive time right here on KBLA, the only Black-owned and operated talk station west of the Mississippi. Listen, America launched strikes on Iran today, and it's not a drill, real strikes, real bombs, while we're all watching the Knicks lose. Speaking of which, Trump called Stephen A. Smith low IQ. Stephen A. did not take that line down. He stood in front of a podium like he was already the president. We'll get into that. ICE wants to give local cops a face scanning app. Think of it like Shazam, but instead of identifying songs, it identifies your abuela. And the SoFi Stadium workers just got their deal, $40 an hour, premium World Cup pay, and they won the right to strike if ICE shows up at the stadium. That last part is historic. We're going to talk all about that. Plus, Nick Reiner, the son accused of stabbing his famous Hollywood parents to death, well, he's now asking the court to release the trust fund his parents left him so he can pay for his own murder defense. I cannot make this stuff up. And filmmaker Nick Davis joins us in hour 2 to talk about This Ordinary Thing, a documentary about the Holocaust rescuers who risked everything. Haunting, necessary, and vital, especially right now. But again, good afternoon, everybody in LA and across the country. Let's start with democracy, such as it is in 2026. It's time for your national news roundup. It's time for you to decide the good, bad, and ugly headlines of the day. And kicking us off, 4 states voted. 4 states will vote, I should say, today. Maine, Nevada, South Carolina, and North Dakota. And the race everybody was watching is up in Maine, where an oyster farmer named Graham Plattner is trying to become the Democratic nominee for Senate against Susan Collins. Now, Graham Plattner is a veteran. He's a working man. He's backed by Bernie Sanders. And he also has, I need you to hear me on this, old Reddit comments about rape and a tattoo on his chest that resembles a Nazi symbol. I'm not making that up. The man has both those things, and he is still the front runner. Still expected to win because Democrats in Maine looked at all of that and said, yeah, but have you met Susan Collins? That tells you everything about where the Democratic Party is right now. There are some people will say that they are so desperate to flip the Senate that they looked at a candidate with a Nazi adjacent chest art and said, close enough, get in the boat. The question now isn't whether Plattner wins the primary. He's expected to. The question is whether a significant chunk of Democrats lodge a protest vote. And if he does win, what does he say tonight that tells us whether he can actually refocus this race on Susan Collins? Meanwhile, down in South Carolina, Lindsey Graham is fighting for his political life. His own people think he's not conservative enough. Paul Dans, one of the architects of Project 2025, endorsed his opponent before dropping out. And if Lindsey Graham is too liberal for your base has left the building. We're watching all of it. Results are coming in. We'll update you throughout the show. Now, let's talk about something that actually went right today. And yes, good news does still happen. Write it down. The workers at SoFi Stadium, all 2,000 cooks, bartenders, dishwashers, concession workers, all of them, they were 3 days away from striking during the World Cup. 3 days. The tournament starts on Friday. Team USA plays Paraguay right here in Los Angeles. Well, they got their deal. And not just any deal. Most workers will now earn more than $40 an hour. Hello. Tip workers see a 30% increase. They got premium pay for the World Cup and the Super Bowl. And here's the part that made me look up from my phone. They won the right to strike over safety concerns, including the presence of ICE agents at the workplace. Now, hold on. This is unprecedented. You see, normally when you sign a contract, you give up the right to strike. That's the trade. But Unite Here, Local 11, said no, ma'am. If ICE shows up in this building and our workers are in danger, we reserve the right to walk out. And FIFA, the multi-billion-dollar governing body that's been ignoring these workers entirely, had to sit at the table. The union spokesperson said, and I'm quoting here, "We won everything we asked for." Now, I need y'all to understand that these workers were actually afraid of FIFA controlling stadium operations during the World Cup, which means they could technically hand workers information over to the federal authorities. Now, these workers, many of them immigrants, were terrified that showing up to serve your nachos could get them detained. So they fought back. They organized and they won. On the show, we tell you every day, do what you can from where you are with what you have, but by all means, do something. And that's what they did. This is the World Cup story the mainstream media is sleeping on. While everyone's talking about the folks who are playing, it's these workers who made this tournament possible, and they made history doing it. And so hat tip to all the workers who put themselves out there on the line. When we come forward, Trump calls Stephen A. Smith low IQ. We unpack what that's really about. And breaking this afternoon, the United States has launched strikes against Iran. Yes, today. Yes, while we're watching the World Cup news. We'll get into all of it with our special guest this hour, Joshua Zeke Thomas, the son of NBA Hall of Famer Isaiah Thomas, joins us, along with our data justice contributor, Jamar Reed. You are listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. More when we come forward.
You're listening to A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
It's been said that when someone you love has Parkinson's, you have Parkinson's.
The Parkinson's Foundation knows that the disease doesn't just affect the diagnosed. It affects everyone who supports and helps care for them.
If you have questions, the Parkinson's Foundation has answers.
We can help you understand the disease
and give you tips for living a better life.
Find your answers at parkinson.org or call 1-800-473-4636. The Parkinson's Foundation. Better lives together.
For 70 years, the Humane Society of the United States has worked to end animal cruelty. Now, we're continuing that mission as Humane World for Animals, because we work around the globe to care for animals who are suffering today. And we tackle the root causes of cruelty for a kinder tomorrow. We are Humane World for Animals, and together we can make a difference. Help make change for animals. Visit humaneworld.org.
My mom has decided to learn to paint, and she's good.
My dad's now into creative cuisine, and I've already put on 6 pounds.
Learning new things comes with age.
My mom, she started forgetting my name and what we're talking about.
Forgetting well-known things doesn't. Memory loss may be a sign of Alzheimer's disease. Early detection gives you and your loved one time to plan for the future. Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's at 10signs.org. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Let's celebrate.
Y'all did it!
Loving each other, needing each other.
Hey, Los Angeles. KBLA Talk 1580 is turning 5, and we're celebrating in a big way.
Oh my God!
Join us Friday, June 19th, Juneteenth, 4 to 7 p.m. at the Beehive for our 5th anniversary bash and Juneteenth celebration. We're talking surprise celebrity guests, a special presentation, and a major announcement you will not want to miss.
I can't wait to hear it.
Plus, live music, dancing, games, and enough food and drink to keep the party going.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Of course, you're welcome to bring your own picnic basket, blanket, and lawn chair. And the best part, it's completely free. But here's the thing. You've got to sign up in advance. Space is limited, so don't wait. Head to KBLA1580.com right now and lock in your spot. Friday, June 19th, The Beehive, KBLA Talk 1580. 5 years strong, and we're just getting started.
Happy anniversary, KBLA! Yeah, man!
Hit me! National News: The Consequence. Informed opinion. And analysis beyond the headlines. You're listening to A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580.
You are listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. I'm Dr. Nii-Quartelai Quartey, and I've got 2 of my favorite people in the building. Well, on the airwaves. Well, y'all get what I'm saying. Joshua Zeke Thomas, the son of NBA Hall of Famer Isaiah Thomas, internationally renowned DJ and activist. He joins us along with Jamar Reed. He is the co-founder and managing partner over at District Analyst. We always like to think of him as our resident data justice contributor. And he is also a distinguished Marine veteran. They both join us in their summer wear. Their summer wear. I mean, my goodness, where's my salmon? You know, it's good to see you both.
Great to see you as well.
Excellent. Well, we have a lot to talk about. We have a lot to get into, and so let's go ahead and jump right into it. Listen, we know that there is a lot happening, including this president who seems to be obsessed with making shockwaves across the media. Let's start there. Donald Trump, Stephen A. Smith, Madison Square Garden, Game 3 of the NBA Finals, and somebody is calling somebody low IQ. Here's what happened. Stephen A. said that he would blame Trump if the Knicks lost. The Knicks lost. Trump heading back to Washington, told reporters, Stephen A., he's a nice guy, but, and I quote, you need a certain aptitude to run for president. You need a high IQ. I'm not sure that Stephen has that. Two things. One, the man was booed at Madison Square Garden and then claimed that it was mostly cheers. And he literally heard thousands of New York fans booing him and said it was applause. And he's talking about somebody else's aptitude. Two, Mother Jones went through Trump's social posts and found that he's used the phrase low IQ at least 50 times. 60% of those uses were directed at, that's right, you guessed it, Black or brown people. This is not a coincidence. It's a habit. It's a pattern. It's a feature, not a bug. Stephen A. fired back on First Take this morning, standing in front of a podium with an American flag like he was already given the State of the Union, and said, and I quote, I could put my IQ against yours any day of the week. I got something even better. I could ask you why you've been running from me for the past year since I asked you to talk to me. I could ask you to debate me. Now, Joshua, Jamar, what are we doing here? Is this the discourse that we deserve? And most importantly, why does a sitting president attend an NBA final game, lock down 12 blocks of Midtown Manhattan, cancel watch parties outside the arena, and then act shocked when the home crowd boos him? Zeke, make it make sense.
So I actually am going to agree with President Trump. I don't think Stephen A. should run for president. I also do not believe that he is a low IQ individual. However, that is language that has been used against us, as you just pointed out, since the dawn of time. However, Stephen A. Smith has no business playing in the political realm. He has shown he has no aptitude to even learn that, Supreme Court justices have to be nominated. Nominated,
Oh, really?
Yeah, you don't get to vote for those. You don't get to vote for those. So Stephen A., definitely needs a civics lesson before he steps into the arena. But, about the Knicks and the hoopla around the city, you know what? The president wanted to come to the game. He came to the game. I'd rather him come to the game than, this archaic cage fight that we got going on at the White House. That's something different.
That's right. It's something different. And I don't know. Jamar, tell
now,
me.
He wasn't my guest. Don't get mad at me. He wasn't my guest.
I know he wouldn't have made it to your guest list, but Jamar,
my guest. Don't get mad at me, y'all.
Jamar, make this make sense.
And you know what? I don't think I can make it make sense. What I'm gonna say is that it's Trump doing what he's done before, which is make himself the center of all things and to gather media and to gather the attention anytime he can. And this is just another example of that. So I mean, and also I'm gonna agree with Zeke on this one here and say that and go with that Stephen A. Smith should not be entering the ring as a candidate. But I would love to see him have that conversation with President Trump. I would love to see that conversation. I'd love to see.
But would we have an honest conversation?
Well, that's exactly what Zeke. I'm with you on that.
Stephen A. and Trump, like I would feel like they would have like a conversation before the thing. Like it'd be like, all right, Donald, you do this, I'm gonna do this, and then I will dap up after the thing. Like I feel like it would be like a show. I don't know if you can trust him. I don't know. Like Stephen A. and Trump they got a thing going on.
I'm gonna agree with you.
Like a thing like Mr. and Mrs. Jones, a thing going on like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Mr. DJ,
exactly. Mr. and Mrs. Smith is happening.
It's something strange. I mean, look, I remember during White House Correspondence, I was hanging out in the lobby in Georgetown at a hotel, and Stephen A. Smith was right there in the mix. It was real thick, with Trump administration people and Republicans. And so, Stephen A., he's trying to tap into the Trump world in some way, shape, or form. Who knows?
It looks like he made MAGA mad. He lost the culture, and now he's made MAGA mad. Because you can't mess with Donald, and now he's barking at you, calling you a low IQ, whatever. And so now MAGA ain't gonna mess with you. The culture already is like, Stephen A., come on, man. So now he's losing his, what do we call that? The base.
Yeah,
base gone.
Well, he better go holler at Candace Owens and Kanye and all the folks who've been playing footsie with Trump, only to find that their foot is missing. Just saying. I ain't gonna call him Kunta, but I'm just saying their foot is missing.
That is a good point.
Moving along. Listen. The United States has launched a military strike against Iran. This is, a story that feels like it just has no end. Here's what we know right now. Yesterday, Iran shot down a U.S. Army Apache helicopter in the Strait of Hormuz. Both pilots were rescued safely, thank goodness, by a Navy surface drone. This afternoon, U.S. Central Command said, and I'm quoting, forces began launching self-defense strikes against Iran about 5 p.m. Eastern at the commander-in-chief's direction. The mission is a proportional response to unjustified Iranian aggression. Iran has reportedly responded with missiles and drones towards U.S. targets in the region. Now, Trump told the Wall Street Journal just this morning that the helicopter incident wasn't a big deal and then ordered strikes. We are in an active military conflict. As you both know, the Strait of Hormuz, effectively closed by Iran since the start of the conflict, is vital for global oil supply. We know that gas prices are already up here in Hollywood, almost $8 a gallon here. This is going to escalate that conversation. Jamar, we have a World Cup starting on Friday. We have an economy where people are already stretched, and we have bombs dropping. Talk to us about what this moment means, particularly pulling on your experience as a Marine veteran.
I mean, first of all, I'm going to say that just hearing that the president would refer to it as no big deal, that hits home. Anytime that you have military personnel in harm's way and shot out of the air and having to be rescued, that's not something that I would refer to as no big deal. It's a big deal to the families that are waiting for those soldiers and sailors to return home. It's a big deal to veterans like myself that think about the times that we would put our lives on the line, and to hear the commander-in-chief refer to it as no big deal. To me, that's a big deal, and I find it highly disrespectful. The other thing I think about is we are, he continues to make points about the economy improving under his administration. He keeps pointing to the stock market and the improvements in the stock market. But what I see, as you just mentioned, and I didn't know that until you said this, $8 a gallon gasoline. Mm-hmm. And you have families that are attempting to get back and forth to work. Many folks don't have the luxury of being able to work from home. They have to get on the road. They have to get on the highways and pay that $8 per gallon or whatever that price may be from state to state. They have to pay that in order to make their living, to get their children back and forth to school. And I mean, to me, that's a big deal. And the last thing I'll say also, in addition, I'm reading in articles connected to this that folks are now resorting to, averaging out at 10 gallons per fill up. So rather than filling up their tanks, which is something that, that we would typically do, folks are making hard decisions at the gas pump. And that's all connected to decisions that are being made by our elected officials that are not acting in our best interest, that to me seem to be acting in their political interest. And to me, again, shame on the president for his statements, and shame on the president for the way that he is approaching the economy that is affecting the folks that put him in office. So,
Zeke, are we paying close enough attention to this? I mean, we are. I think today marks the 100th day that we've been at war with Iran. Are the American people, are we too lax about this war that is afoot in Iran? Are we too lax about the almost $8 a gallon gas prices? I mean, why haven't people, simply taken to the streets yet?
Well, I definitely see, people in the streets, and people have been in the streets, and people have definitely, tried to move the movement and make a change. The economy can look fine on paper, but quietly, people are making smaller and smaller choices every day with their budget. It's just getting shrunk and shrunk and shrunk. And my main thing as regards to the helicopter is there's a difference between strength and recklessness. Strength is knowing when not to make this situation bigger. And the conflict just seems to keep growing and growing and growing. And this president of peace, we haven't seen that.
We ain't seen no president of peace. We ain't seen no prince of peace. We ain't seen any of that yet. But look, we can continue to demand it. And when we come forward, we are digging a little bit deeper because apparently one crisis at a time is not how 2026 works. Trump is ramping up claims of election fraud right here in California. Experts, including election law scholars, are calling it fabricated. They're calling it invented. They're calling it made up. The California primary just happened. And before the results are even fully counted, the president of the United States is seeding doubt about their legitimacy, not based on evidence, not based on a single credible report of fraud, just alleging it, because that's what he does. We're going to dig deeper into that when we come forward, but I want to put a pin in this. When you spend years calling elections fraudulent without evidence, you've not just been playing politics, you're dismantling the infrastructure of democracy one press conference at a time. More with Joshua Zeke Thomas and Jamar Reed when we come forward. We're getting into surveillance, your face, the cops. Don't touch the dial. You're listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580.
The audience is listening, thought-provoking, eye-opening, heart-rendering. This is where authentic voices meet powerful discussions on culture, community, and change. This is where Black voices matter. He's breaking boundaries, amplifying diverse perspectives, and tackling the issues that matter most to you. You're inside A More Perfect Union with Dr. Nii-Quartelai Quartey on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Amber Payton with BIN News Now. A Texas jury has found Carmelo Anthony guilty of murder in the stabbing death of 17-year-old Austin Metcalf. The deadly confrontation happened in 2025 at a high school track meet in Frisco. The case drew racial tensions with demonstrators outside the courthouse supporting both Anthony, who was black, and Metcalf, who was white. Jurors in McKinney had been weighing murder, manslaughter, or acquittal. Democratic City Councilwoman Nithya Raman is advancing to the November Los Angeles mayoral election against Black incumbent Mayor Karen Bass. Raman defeated Republican reality TV star Spencer Pratt after a late surge of mail-in votes as President Trump criticized how California runs its elections. And Sir Idris Elba says audiences may not embrace a Black James Bond. The Black British actor was long rumored as a possible replacement after Daniel Craig left the franchise, but Elba says those talks were never real. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Wild Rivers is now open daily with over 25 slides and attractions for thrill seekers and lazy river chillers. Visit wildrivers.com for great values on season passes and daily tickets. That's wildrivers.com. Wild Rivers, where there's sun and fun for everyone.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
Serena Williams' comeback is off to a positive start. The 44-year-old Compton native won her doubles match Tuesday afternoon in the opening round of the HSBC Championships in London. Serena and Victoria Mboko defeated Nicole Melichar-Martinez and Erin Routliffe 7-6 and 6-2. This was Serena's first competition since she retired in July 2022 after competing in the U.S. Open. Serena says she has no plans to play in the HSBC singles competition. Omar Atan of Somalia, one of the top soccer referees in the world, was denied entry into the U.S. Tuesday. Atan was scheduled to work first-round matches in the World Cup this weekend at SoFi Stadium. Customs agents stopped Atan at Miami International Airport after his flight from Istanbul. He was prohibited from making his connecting flight to L.A. because of what they called vetting concerns. Somalia is on the list of countries where citizens are not allowed to travel to the U.S. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
You want balanced? Go somewhere else. You want honest? You're already here. 5 years ago, KBLA Talk 1580 made a choice to be the progressive alternative Los Angeles deserved and never apologized for it. We haven't. Not once. 5 years, same mission, zero apologies. KBLA Talk 1580, live on 1580 AM and streaming everywhere.
Happy anniversary!
Lena Bloom for the Bail Project.
Imagine you're stuck in a jail cell and you can't afford bail and someone offers you a way out. Just plead guilty and you can go home and kiss your kids goodnight. What do? What thousands have. You plead guilty whether you are or not. Cash bail makes poverty a crime. That's why the Bail Project helps those who can't afford it while fighting to end cash bail. Because freedom should be free.
Brought to you by the Ad Council.
All I need is one mic.
With the KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm James Farr. $2.5 billion. Governor Gavin Newsom said it was there for fire survivors in Altadena and the Palisades. No strings attached. That was the promise. But the burning question is, where's it at? 18 months later, an NBC4 investigation came back with the numbers. The numbers don't answer the question, they deepen it. Where's it at? About $605 million has been spent, roughly 75% still not released. Where's it at? Roughly $14 million went to CHP overtime and ICE immigration protest response for crowd control. Not rebuilding homes, not rebuilding lives, but crowd control. Where's it at? Another $13 million went to the state health department for video campaigns while fire survivors waited. While families in Altadena are still trying to put their lives back together, still trying to get housed, this is the hope gap and it's real. Where's it at? Southern California Edison is still in court, still fighting liability tied to the Eden fire, still not accountable. Where's it at? 18 months later, Governor Newsom, where's it at? Because the truth is free, but the lie can be very expensive. And right now, fire survivors want to know what happened to no strings attached. And I've been saying on this mic for the past 18 months, somebody or somebodies didn't do their job. Now it's documented. Governor Newsom, listen closely. You didn't do your job. You didn't keep your promise. You held up the bill. Now stop holding up the money. You said no strings attached. Instead, you played on the people's heartstrings. Where's it at? See, Governor Newsom, even at the French Laundry, if it don't come out in the wash, it's sure enough gonna come out in the rinse, and the rinse cycle is here. With the KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm James Farr, and as always, we welcome your feedback.
Now back to building a more perfect union on KBLA Talk 1580.
You are listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. I'm Dr. Nii-Quartelai Quartey, and always excited to be in conversation with my friend and brother, Jamar Reed. Jamar is managing partner of District Analyst. I think of him as our data justice contributor here. And we're also joined with my friend Joshua Zeke Thomas. He's an activist and internationally renowned DJ. He's also the son of NBA Hall of Famer Isaiah Thomas. And what I love about this is we get to take some of the conversations we have off air and bring them to the people right here on air. Welcome to both of you.
Glad to be here again, Dr. Nee.
And so, look, we're going full Black Mirror this segment, apparently, because this is real and it's happening. ICE is planning to give more than 1,000 local police departments access to a facial recognition app. You walk down the street, a cop points their phone at your face. The app scans you against a database of hundreds of millions of images and tells the officer your immigration status, all in seconds. Now, the app is called Mobile Identify. ICE already has a version of it that it uses, Mobile Fortify, which has already been used more than 200,000 times on American streets. ICE's own position is that people cannot refuse to be scanned. Yeah, you can't refuse to have your face scanned by law enforcement. That's what they think. On a public sidewalk, without a warrant, without probable cause, without anything but a cop with a phone. Now, the ACLU called this an embarrassingly cursory plan that utterly fails to acknowledge the harms. Those harms include this: facial recognition technology. It's been documented to misidentify, that's right, you guessed it, Black and brown people at dramatically higher rates than white people. We're not talking about minor errors. We're talking about systems that have sent innocent people to jail. And now ICE wants local cops, 1,000+ agencies to have this technology, not federal agents, local police. This one who, and these are the folks who already have their own issues with racial bias and enforcement. We know that. Here in LA, the Street Lighting Bureau is pushing to install license plate readers across the city, surveillance at every intersection, with questions about how that data gets shared, including potentially with the federal government. And so the question I keep asking, at what point does this stop being immigration enforcement and start being a surveillance state? And who decides which communities get watched more closely? Jamar, kick us off.
Yeah, I'm sitting here thinking about a president that the Republican Party holds in high regard. And that president says something about government is not the solution for your problem and calling for less government. But this feels like more government. And it's coming from an administration that holds that president in high regard to and this looks like more government. And the question I ask is, where are they referencing this facial recognition against? Like, are they pulling this? I'd imagine they're pulling it from other databases that we have signed into as we're coming and going from the country, as we're heading through the airport. These are all systems that we did not agree to enter our information into. Now it's being synced, in my opinion, and being used across platforms and across agencies. And that right there, that worries me. And I'd imagine that there are also some there are some commercial interest in here as well. And that information may not even be just contained within the government. So what other private organizations have access to this information? So, I mean, this is not something that I'm excited about. I'm in data every day. I'm looking at how we use data to fulfill the needs and the requests of organizations, and oftentimes we have to work within very strict guidelines around how we use people's data because it's something that's been entrusted to us. And in this situation, I see it being used. Again, what are they using to reference this data? And in my opinion, somewhere along the line, our picture has been taken and scanned, and it's being used now not to help us, but to hurt us.
I mean, Zeke, even as I hear Jamar sort of lay that out, this is potentially very terrifying, that folks could take our images, our likeness, and who knows what their motivations are. I mean, we live in the era of deep fakes. I think there's a platform that Elon Musk owns where essentially they can take a photograph of us clothed and create a deep fake of us in the raw and, wreak havoc on people's lives, and so, what is it going to take in order for people to really revolt, not just push back a little bit, to revolt at the use of these technologies by local police across the country?
This is terrifying. Absolutely. It's terrifying because, as you said, it turns policing in everyday policing into immigration enforcement. And technology does make mistakes. And when technology makes mistakes, people don't get an apology first. They get detained first. They get processed first. They get put in jail first. And God forbid they get shot and killed first. There are things that, as a society, we do need to take accountability for and definitely rise up against. We definitely have allowed big tech to reign free and do whatever they want, unapologetically, unchallenged. There are no guardrails. And we're now here at a place where you can say, oh, this tool, this technological tool can be good. It can do this, it can do that. But the good that it's doing, again, is at the demise of social norms that we have known since the 60s, since the civil rights movement.
Yeah. Look, Jamar, I know that you have children yourself, and I'm curious as to how do you think about this as a parent? I mean, I remember a time when we were kids, where you had programs like the DARE program, right? And I remember PSAs on TV, where you saw police officers, that were supposedly officer friendly, helping to save cats and dogs and out of trees, that sort of thing. We are so far from that paradigm of thinking when it comes to good police officers. Does this technology potentially create a warranted suspicion among the people when it comes to interacting with law enforcement? And doesn't that fundamentally make the people and officers a little less safe?
Absolutely. And I'm going to say that as you were speaking about that, I'm thinking about the fact that while walking my daughter to school this week, a couple of times this week, we've had ICE agents on the corner en route to dropping my daughter off. And thank God for the brave teachers and the parents and the family members that get out in front of those schools and protect those children and protect those families as again, young children in elementary school are trying to get an education. And even for those students that may not be the ones and the families that the ICE agents may not be after, this is I'll tell you, I had to explain to my daughter this week what ICE was. I had to walk through, because she could see that there were police officers and she knew that they were police officers standing and not there to help, but there to harm and to take away. And I had to have that conversation with my 8-year-old daughter. And this, again, to your point, in the 80s and the 90s, an officer helping and being there to help. And today we're having conversations around, maybe even having to distinguish between officers that are there to help versus officers that may be there to do harm. And again, I'm not the only parent having to have those conversations. I'm not the only parent having to walk their child past ICE agents, posted outside of elementary schools. I'm not talking about middle schools or high schools, posted outside of elementary schools, causing, I'd say, emotional harm to children that will remember those experiences well into their adulthood. So
yeah,
you can
Zeke,
support public safety and still demand guardrails. Those two things are not opposites.
100% agree.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and while you're at it, make sure that you're also supporting workers. This story coming out of LA with the SoFi Stadium workers, I mean, I think this is huge, and it's one that we were celebrating earlier. The SoFi Stadium workers explicitly negotiated the right to strike if ICE shows up at their workplace. That's not an accident. That's people understanding exactly how pervasive this surveillance infrastructure has become. And it's not just fighting for wages. They're fighting for safety, for the right to go to work without being scanned and detained. This is the America that we're living in right now. And we need to say that out loud. Zeke, what say you about what these workers have accomplished just days before the World Cup?
What's exciting is we went from the conversation of almost referencing and toning down that people aren't in the streets, protesting, making noise. And here you have a union of workers standing up, making noise for ICE to not come to their place of business. These little things, these little wins that we're able to keep racking up, they do matter. And I'm thankful that they did it, that they passed through, and hopefully other places will follow suit.
Look, I'm with you. This is major, and I think sometimes we get so caught up in the headlines. We get so lost in the headlines, and it feels like nothing really matters. It feels like the will of some pretty dark forces out there is inevitable, and I think they want us to think that. They want us to feel powerless, and so part of the reason why I really wanted to lift this story up around SoFi Stadium is to remind people of our own agency, to remind folks of our own power. When we come forward, we're talking about how Americans are adjusting their spending as costs soar because the economy was already complicated before today's strike on Iran. That conversation coming up next. You're listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580.
Striving to make America a nation as good as its promise. This is A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
LADWP customers get rebates up to $1,500 when you install a qualified electric vehicle charger at your home. It's like having a gas station in your garage. Get extra savings when you combine LADWP rebates with federal tax credits on chargers installed before June 30th. Visit ladwp.com/EV today and start saving. That's ladwp.com/EV. Going to a World Cup match in LA this summer? Ditch the parking stress and ride Metro. With direct service from across LA County, it's the easy way to get there for just $1.75 each way.
If you're an African-American mom who is pregnant or have a baby under 6 months old, you deserve care that lifts, listens, and lasts. Black Infant Health is for you. It's a free program with individual support, group sessions, and resources to start your mothering journey. BIH makes space for moms and their families to create community. Learn more about the programs in Los Angeles County. Check us out at blackinfanthealth.org.
When you turn to the Employment Development Department, we'll help you get there. Whether it's support for you and your family while you find a new job, or the resources to focus on your recovery after illness or injury, we can help you move forward. From support while you bond with your newborn, to helping serve your family while your partner serves our country. Your EDD will help you get there. For more information, visit edd.ca.gov.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. At the heart of the Al Wooten Center's mission for good citizenship and academic excellence is a desire to ensure that every student avoids the kind of lifestyle and overcomes the kinds of challenges that led to the murder of Al Wooten Jr. In 1990, founder Myrtle Faye Rumpf opened the center in honor of her son's life. In 2026, they are serving more than 300 students in grades 3 through 12 annually online and on site at their youth center and other sites in the South LA area. The Al Wooten Jr. Youth Center takes a neighborhood approach to the revitalization and empowerment of a community in crisis. The Wooten Center provides free after-school and summer programs to help students in grades 3 through 12 attain grade-level proficiency and promotion, high school graduation, and college and career access and success. The Al Wooten Center focuses on academics, STEM, the arts, and so much more. Join them for an enriching experience that sparks creativity and nurtures young minds. Tap in at wootencenter.org. That's wootencenter.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
We face tragedy, but we don't fall into despair. We continue our work to build a more perfect union.
You are listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. Before we hop into our remaining minutes with our guests, Joshua Zeke Thomas and Jamar Reed, a little bit of breaking news here in California. It is official. Javier Becerra has moved to the brink of the California governorship after Tom Steyer was eliminated from the race today instead of running against Democrat Becerra. A Democrat, Becerra is going to face off against Republican Steve Hilton in November. A lot of folks believe this is going to give Javier Becerra a clear path to victory in this heavily Democratic state, positioning him potentially as California's first Latino governor in modern history. It is official. Tom Steyer is out. A lot of folks have been waiting to see, is Tom Steyer going to catch up in the vote count? It doesn't appear to be the case. Politico, ABC News, a lot of sources are reporting that Javier Becerra and Steve Hilton are the top two vote getters for California governor, and they will face off in November. Any immediate reaction to that, Zeke? I know you've been following the California governor's race from afar. I'm curious as to folks outside of California, and both of you are outside of California. What do you make of this, Zeke?
As somebody outside of California on the other coast, I was a light fan of Tom Steyer's attempts at, the presidency and into foray into politics. Seems like he cares about his country but cannot get elected. So let's go, Javier.
Wow. Say it plain. Tell me what you really think, Zeke. Tell me what you really think. Jamar, what do you make of it?
No, I mean, it's interesting to have this breaking news. I know it was something that folks in California have been, and not just California, but folks across the United States have been paying close attention to. And I think not just for Californians, but also for other races that will be happening in the as we go into the end of this year and then into 2028. So definitely looking forward to kind of sinking my teeth into the information coming out after this announcement. But yeah, so looking forward to looking into this a little bit more.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of folks have been on the edge of their seat, trying to get a sense of what's happening and where this is going. Now, on to our final story today. We got a story coming out about everyday Americans now reporting significantly adjusting their spending habits as the cost of living continues to rise. We're talking about people cutting back on groceries and delaying major purchases, making choices about what they can and cannot afford. This is not an abstraction. This is on the grocery receipt, as they say. And now with strikes on Iran today and an escalating conflict in the Strait of Hormuz, gas prices, which were already elevated, could go higher The Strait of Hormuz carries, again, about 20% of the world's oil. And when that's unstable, you feel it at the pump. You feel it at any purchase that you have that requires energy. And so, gentlemen, when we talk about the economy, we talk about the numbers, whether you're talking about GDP, inflation, federal policy, how do we make sure that this conversation actually reaches the people that are living these numbers? Because sometimes I feel like we're talking over people's heads and not talking directly to people's hearts. Jamar?
Yeah, just very quickly, I'll call out that as folks start to spend less money at the gas pump, folks start to spend less money in the grocery store, making hard decisions. I think about the fact that affects jobs directly. It affects retail jobs, because those folks that are working for companies and organizations that see a decline in retail spending, it leads to layoffs, which lead to folks having to make tough decisions, and it becomes cyclical. And for a president that promised to be someone that engages the economy and grows the economy, it's the exact opposite of what was promised.
Zeke, I'm going to give you the final word here in about a minute. Go.
A lot of people are spending more just to live the same life that they had last year. And that's not the American dream. Again, like Jamar said, that's not what President Trump promised. And that is not the direction that the country seems to be headed. It's sad that we have to keep on telling people to grab your bootstraps and, deal with it. You'll be all right. Take one for the team. Do it for America. We got to stop doing it for America. When we going to get some reparations, Dr. D?
Well, when we all get better at using our Yosemite Sam voice like you just used.
Can I get a meal voucher? Can I get my parking validated? You know what I mean?
Can you teach me that Yosemite Sam impression? I'm just asking questions that need answers. We're not going to be able to get those today, but my thanks to Jamar Reed and Joshua, Zeke, Thomas. I love having y'all on. This is great. We need to have you on more often. I love it, love it, love it. When we come forward, look, we're shifting gears. Nick Reiner is asking for his parents' trust fund to pay for the defense in their murder case. Yes, really. Plus, filmmaker Nick Davis joins us to talk about This Ordinary Thing. It's a documentary about Holocaust rescuers that feels remarkably relevant right now. And Republicans just passed a bill to fund ICE through the end of Trump's term. We're going to break all that down when we come forward. You're listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. Thanks, guys.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Amber Payton with BIN News Now. A Texas jury has found Carmelo Anthony guilty of murder in the stabbing death of 17-year-old Austin Metcalf. The deadly confrontation happened in 2025 at a high school track meet in Frisco. The case drew racial tensions with demonstrators outside the courthouse supporting both Anthony, who was black, and Metcalf, who was white. Jurors in McKinney had been weighing murder, manslaughter, or acquittal.